Hey everyone, Rich Morgan, Magic Touch Mechanical, and the fireplace. If you've seen any of my videos before, you know I do them real raw. You might hear my dog barking in the background. You'll probably hear me saying and all that kind of stuff. But my main goal is to just give you guys some useful information that hopefully saves you some money or answers some questions with regards to air conditioning, heating, and fireplaces. So, without further ado, let's jump into today's topic. And today's topic is about heat pumps and specifically about the defrost cycle. It's been in the lower 30s, freezing or just above in Phoenix for the last couple of days. Every time that happens this time of year, we get bombarded with phone calls from people whose systems we installed or whose systems we didn't install, who think they have no heat, and it turns out their heat pump is working fine and it's in the defrost cycle. On our website, airconditioningarizona.com, on the blog, I have recently published a couple of articles about this to kind of point people to and help them out. Like I said, our phones light up when this happens, and yesterday and today have been no exception. So today is January 9th. Yesterday I posted an article called Heat Pump Not Heating. So that's January 8th I posted that. And then about a week ago, I posted another article called Heat Pump Defrost Cycle. And the Heat Pump Defrost Cycle article, which was posted on January 2nd, gets into some detail as to what the defrost cycle is and some temperatures that it can happen. There's also a link in there to another article that I wrote some time ago called How a Heat Pump Works. I'm from New York originally. I learned the trade in New York, or I started the trade in New York, and we didn't have a lot of heat pumps back in the day in New York. We had lots of oil and gas-fired furnaces, but here in Phoenix and in a lot of parts of the country now, heat pumps are gaining popularity. So if you're not familiar with the defrost cycle, it would be pretty easy to think that your unit wasn't working. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I just wanted to basically explain it and hopefully help some people save a couple of bucks before paying for a service call, only for the technician to tell them your system was in defrost and it's working fine. So bear with me here. I'm going to tell you pretty much in a nutshell how a heat pump works. So a heat pump is basically an air conditioner in reverse. You probably have either you have a rooftop unit or you have a split system, which is that condenser, that outdoor unit, and a unit in your attic or your garage or your closet. If you don't have a gas furnace, chances are you have an electric heat pump. Electric heat pumps can work very well, even in very cold climates, but they do have to defrost themselves. So what happens is when we have temperatures that are in the 30s, that outdoor coil is going to get very cold, and frost is going to build up on it. And what the defrost cycle does is it basically shuts down the heat inside. This whole cycle, depending on the model of machine, lasts anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, okay? On average, it's going to last 10 to 12 minutes, depending on the brand and depending on the model. So there's two types. One is initiated simply by temperature. It's got a sensor on the unit, on the outdoor coil, and when that sensor detects the temperature has fallen below its parameters, it's going to shut off the outdoor fan motor. It's going to shut off the indoor fan motor. You're not going to feel any heat. It's going to keep the compressor running. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to start to defrost or burn off. It's sending hot liquid gas through that coil to melt that frost off. It wants to do this before it turns to ice and starts impeding the operation where the air can't flow through the coils. Um, when I say air conditioning in reverse, let me tell you what's really happening, because a lot of people have trouble wrapping their head around this, but this is the way a heat pump works. So no matter how cold it is outside, there's always heat energy in the air, okay? In the outdoor air. So even when it's 30 degrees, although it doesn't feel like it and it sounds crazy, there is in fact heat in that air. And what the heat pump is doing is it's pulling that heat out of that air, and it's basically moving that into the house. Now that is a very layman way of describing it. And I know it's very difficult for people to wrap their head around. I have trouble putting it into words when I'm defining it to people, even after 36 years in this business and owning Magic Touch for 27 years. It's almost like a, hey, trust me, this is how it works. So it's not creating heat. Heat is energy. Energy can't be created or destroyed, but it can be moved from one place to another, and that's what we use the refrigerant in a heat pump for. So I won't bore you to death with the rest of that, but let's just say this with regards to the defrost cycle. On days where it's 30-something degrees outside, almost every heat pump is going to go through a defrost cycle. It's typically going to happen in the wee hours of the night or very early in the morning. So a lot of times you won't even know it's happening, right? You're still under the covers, we're fast asleep. But for those of us who are early risers, you may in fact catch it happening. Don't panic. Give it about 20 minutes and your heat should come back on. There may be, depending on what type of thermostat you have, you may have a message on your thermostat that says wait or starting soon or something like that. And that's a good thing. That typically means that it's in defrost, which is a normal operation. You want this to happen. Now, if you have a ground system, a unit on the ground, a condenser outside, one thing you can go look at is walk outside, see if you can hear the compressor running and if the outdoor fan motor is spinning or not. If the outdoor fan motor is not spinning and you can hear your compressor running, most likely it's in defrost. So again, give it 10 to 20 minutes. And once it defrosts, it will have a little wait period and then it'll start heating again. On really, really cold days, this can happen once or twice. It can happen almost back to back because the machine is going to protect itself from that frost buildup. If you have a rooftop unit, I do not recommend climbing on your roof to see if your fan motor's spinning. If there's frost building up on the coils, you can bet that there's frost building up on your shingles or on your tile or whatever type of roof you have. I have slipped down pitched roofs before. It's not fun. Luckily, I haven't hurt myself, but I've been climbing on roofs for 3.5 decades, so I'm kind of used to it. Just wait the 20 minutes and see what happens. Now, if 30 minutes goes by, 40 minutes goes by, or you go outside, it's set to heat, and nothing's running and there's no frost, well, you probably do have a problem. Go back into your thermostat, though, and check and see if it says wait or something like that on there, because there might be a delay. Well, there is a delay on most units after the defrost cycle completes before it will start heating again. Again, our website, airconditioningarizona.com. On the top right-hand corner, you'll see blog. I've written tons of articles about heating systems, how a heat pump works. I mean, we really get down into the weeds on how these things work, what to expect. But hopefully, after seeing this today, you realize, hey, let me just be patient. And you find out that you didn't need to call for a service call and you're good to go. All right. Thanks, guys. Stay warm and Happy New Year. All right. Bye-bye.